I'd like to call the September 10th board meeting of the Central School Board to order at this time. And I want to say welcome to the Central School District Board meeting. Comments from the community are entertained during the time designated under communications public comments. If we wish to speak to the board, please fill out a comment card and turn it into the board secretary or the board chair at the beginning of the meeting. Speakers' comments in this forum are limited to 3 minutes, but the board welcomes additional information in writing. Personnel laws prohibit the board from hearing public complaints about an individual in an open meeting. All complaints must go through the board's approved process as outlined in Board Policy KL. This form may be found on our website or by calling the district office. Typically, a speaker's comments is taken under advisement to allow time for the board to review an issue. However, the board chair or other board members may ask a speaker for additional information or may convey to the speaker some information that addresses their comment. Please note if on the speaker card if you would like to receive follow-up communications, and if so, what avenue is preferred. And thank you again for your attendance at this meeting of the Central School Board. So let's do a flag salute. So Jerry, would you please lead us in the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And again, thank you everybody for coming tonight. It's great seeing you guys. At this time, we are at the adoption of the agenda.
Yep, and there are no changes, so we can move forward.
There are no changes. Communications, and so we're going to start
Power Piers.
action, maybe taken as anything other than any other communications? Okay. So we have student reports. So we got somebody here from Power Piers? Hey, there's a person popped up. New faces in the crowd. Ooh, better grab a couple chairs from behind you.
We're standing right just close to the mic.
You guys got to remember, you got to speak loud.
Do I start now? Okay. Power Piers is off to a great start. Firstly, we helped lead the new Panther orientation for the first day for all the new students. In PSP, we showed the club video, the general definition of what PSP is, and the frequently asked question video. What we are working on now is the videos that we're going to be putting out throughout the whole year. Right now we're working on the P in the Power Matrix for October, for our October lesson, and we're just planning how the video is going to go for that one.
Anybody else?
Can you guys introduce yourselves?
Why don't you introduce everybody?
I'm Ayana.
I'm Nivy.
I'm Sagan.
I'm Kendra.
I'm Kathy.
Awesome, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
You guys are great. So, communications from the floor. I got only one comment card. Anybody else want to turn one in right now? If not, Van, you are up.
Good evening. My name is Van Holstead. This is my 21st year at Central High School. Not only am I a teacher at Central High School, I also have my son graduated in 2017. My daughter is currently a junior, and I am a community member. I live at 727 Tyler's Place in Independence, so I vote. I'm here to talk about contract negotiations, and I have a lot to say. You won't hear it all today, and I hope you don't hear it next meeting. Last time we had contract negotiations, I introduced, for those of you who have been here for a while, my button that says, "No contract, still teaching." This is at least 15 years old. Isn't it a shame that I still have it? Isn't it a shame that I still use it? Okay? Also, we have some things that we shouldn't be proud of. Isn't it a shame that the district continues to use the same tactic over and over again? The stall tactic, hoping that the teachers will panic and accept something woefully inadequate. We've seen it before, time and time again. It's time to turn the page to a new tactic. Find a new strategy. Isn't it a shame that instead of working on a pretest for my student growth goals tonight, that I'm here with you, talking about contract negotiations? Isn't it a shame that when I get dressed in the morning, I don't think about what I have to do at school first? I think about wearing a red shirt. By the way, I haven't dressed in any other color this year yet. Isn't it also a shame that I think about putting this button on before I think about what I'm doing for our students? Isn't it also a shame that tomorrow I'm going to be organizing, and I have already organized food for your contract negotiations meeting. You better be hungry because there's going to be a lot. Instead of helping with a volleyball fundraiser. Isn't that a shame that I'm doing that instead? Okay? I think it's time to remove the distraction that is present for our teachers and classified staff. It's time. It is absolutely time. Thank you.
Thank you, Van. So Denise or
Just Laura.
Laura? Okay. Laura, you're
Report.
up.
Okay.
At this time, usually the the CEA presents to you some information about what's happening at the schools, and this time is no different. We are doing great things at our schools. We are putting the time in, we're connecting with our students, and every month we make it a practice as an organization to bring you news of what's happening in the schools with our kids. And we have a representative from Central High School. This is Dan Hansen. He's a special education educator, and he's going to tell you what's happening at Central High School this month.
Thank you, Laura, for the introduction. Just want to take a couple of minutes here, talk to our counseling office, and right now our mental health services that we've initiated. I'm kind of sad.
Hold on, Dan, a second. We lost your mic, so give us a second here to just make sure that you're connected.
I think it's working now.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. All right. In speaking with our counseling office, we're very pleased that we have the mental health services on campus. Unfortunately, at this time, they're already completely booked up and full. So we could see an expansion upon that service. To tie with that, our counselors have been exceptionally busy. We've already fielded 3 suicidal ideations that have been successfully dealt with. But obviously, mental health is still a major concern that needs to be addressed. Counseling office is also pleased to announce that they have a financial aid night on October 2nd. It will be held in both English and Spanish. Collaboration with Marco from our new college and careers teacher and Juan from the district office. Western Oregon University will be returning to do a presentation on financial aid that night for our students. Our library has been exceptionally busy. At this time, they've already checked out over 1,500 to 1,700 textbooks for students this year. Our English department will be taking students to Ashland to attend the Shakespeare Festival on October 6th, 7th, and 8th. New teachers, pleased to get around and to get to know them a little bit better. They report that they are feeling very welcomed and very super supported at this time. AVID, pleased to announce that we have 2 new elective AVID teachers have been added to the program. Currently, we are serving students in 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. By next year, all grade levels will be covered and have availability to be able to join into the AVID program. Athletics, it's been great. Our fall season participation is a record high. The department is conducting a Title IX self-audit to create a big picture of where we are, and they will be creating a vision and core values chart. Very pleased to see that Alternative School is moving forward. Nikki Hansen is coordinating a new off-campus alternative school to serve the needs of our students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
So Cease, we're down to you.
So in your packet, if you got one this evening or are checking online, we do not include a financial report at this meeting. Our new employment contracts are not yet loaded and encumbered into the system. That happens in the month of September, so we don't even have a true picture yet of what those salaries will be as far as printing them out on a report. We've got them in the employment system, but not in the financial system. And we have very little activity in the month of July because there's nobody around in our buildings purchasing things. So nothing there to report yet, but we will have a full report at the next meeting. And then I also included information, we did take delivery of 2 new propane buses. So first day routes, we had 2 of our new buses included on the system. That program is continuing. And my only other report for you included is a copy of the deferred maintenance and capital projects report from this summer. A lot less than we've done in the past. In the past, primarily out of general fund, but also out of some of our other funds, but primarily general fund, we've spent between about $100,000 and $230,000 a summer. And this year, cutting back on our general fund expenditures, we have spent $70,000. So we did get that walkway roof recovered, Jerry, over at IES. So we've got that taken care of. Hopefully we'll not be raining on kiddos as they walk out to those portables. But a few other projects, the high school roof was the major project, and they did complete that. And we'll wait for the first rains to make sure that that seal will work as promised to give us that maybe 3 to 4 to 5 year patch that we're looking for before we have the $1 million re-roofing.
Ceased. So the HVAC at IES, you just mentioned, could be Cool Schools.
Right.
Is that a program? It sounded familiar, but I didn't know.
Okay, good, because we haven't talked about it for a while. That is a program that we basically, at our Title I schools, if they are over 70% free and reduced lunch, so not all of our Title I schools, we actually get money from our utility companies that serve that school. IES is the only remaining school. That money has been building up for years, and it is specifically dedicated to certain energy-saving programs. So we did plan probably to be able to use some of that in the bond, had that passed. Now we are getting a new report on that, trying to get a new consultant in to look and see if there are other things we can do to the school. That money is sitting in a separate fund. It's not in the general fund, so it's sitting in a special revenue fund, and trying to see if we can't spend that out to make those improvements. Okay, no other questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Cease.
Thank you, Cease. So it says, get back to the front page. Your report.
It is me. So good evening. As we start the school year, and obviously in August, as we have approved our 4 strategic goals, my reports will start to reflect just the focus and what we have been doing really tied to those 4 strategic goals. I give great credit. A lot of them are sitting in the room right here in how we have worked together to really develop 4 goals that obviously the board has adopted, and we will continue to work through as we move forward. So I'm going to address all 4 areas really as we've started the school year. So goal 1 is really focused on student growth and achievement. And so I just want to start by saying we have had a fantastic start to the school year. Last week, it was great to see students engaged and prepared in their learning. A lot of focus on behavior expectations and our approach to positive behavior support at the schools. A couple examples of that at Independence, we had what was called a roundup. And so students had opportunity to go through different stations to really see what it looks like and learn what expectations are on the playground, in the hallways, before and after school. Again, a lot of the schools were involved in different types of expectations and routines as we started last week. It was fun to see both the middle school and high school, the first day of school, having the 6th and 7th grade new students in the building. I think what was great about both of those days is your other students were leading 9th and 6th grade students. So you had the Webb students out of the middle school, and then both ASBEC and Power Peers that were really leading the day to allow both 6th graders at the middle school and 9th graders starting to feel comfortable in that transition, because that can be very hard for students to do. And so it's great to see those pieces. And then just great conversations with different students as I walked through all 5 buildings all 3 days last week. And some kids very excited to be back in school and some so not, but kids were really excited, and staff just did an amazing job. In regards to family involvement, we had great participation in families on open house night. So the day before we actually started school at the elementaries, it was really great to see our staff foster relationships between students and the families as they were welcoming kids in to their classrooms. A lot of kindergarten, obviously we had a lot of students in K-5 as we went through that open houses at all 3 elementary schools, so that was great. One of those was, we have a new principal at the elementary, Independence, Dr. Nicole Smith, and as I walked over at the open house, she had a very long line of both parents and students just wanting to meet with her and have conversation with her, so it was fun to see the engagement there. And then we did have lots of parents the first day of school walking students to class, being in class, taking pictures, just really good family involvement as we started the school year. In regards to community partnership, I am going to again acknowledge publicly how thankful I am for the outstanding partnership that we have with both the Independence and Monmouth Police Departments. I want to also acknowledge Officer Barlow, who is our school resource officer, who has been just a great resource for us as we have worked through some things over the past several weeks, as I have shared. It's these types of partnerships that allows us to cultivate safe, healthy, prosperous, and inclusive communities. And I truly, truly am thankful for their partnership over the last few weeks, and I'm looking forward to continuing that partnership. And then last but not least, our 4th goal, staff leadership and continuous improvement. During the week of August 27th through the 29th, the district had its first 3 professional development and learning days. Staff spent 2 days really within their buildings doing some professional development and learning, and then 1 day where the district had some professional development and learning. We had approximately 21 professional learning opportunities that were developed where staff had choice of where they could attend the sessions that sort of piqued their interest throughout those 2 days. It was a conference-style approach. that had different offerings tied to technology, suicide prevention, safety, STEM, equity, trauma-informed, and family engagement, just to give you a flavor of what was offered for all staff across the district. So that was both licensed and classified. And then this afternoon, I sent out, it's important that we continuously get feedback. And so there was an email that went out with a short survey, shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. I'm going to plug that. Staff would appreciate the feedback. It's important for us as we continue to work together and how we focus on continuous improvement and growth, really focused on that purpose, teamwork, and how we drive those decision-making processes. So just exciting, great start to the year. Looking forward to that continuing as we move forward. So that is it from me.
All right.
Or questions?
Just a quick question, enrollment-wise, I know we don't have hard numbers at this point, obviously, but were there any surprises in terms of class sizes and enrollment?
It's about what we expected. I think with some of the pieces that we did tied to closing early last year, both Monmouth and Ash Creek, because both of those schools are full. And we also did close Talmadge outside of, let me rephrase, out of district. The elementaries were any inter-district, and so we have continued to work through those. We are, again, looking at numbers about what we expected last spring, continue to have those conversations with the principals. Again, we know that towards the end of this month is when we really get those counts, but there was nothing unexpected from what we had anticipated from last spring, based off of enrollment and what we're seeing coming in.
Thanks.
Other questions?
No other questions. So upcoming activities, board report-wise, our next board meeting is October 8th at 6:30. And we also have the OSBA conference in Portland coming up on the November the 8th to the 11th. Have we heard anything about our potential request for that?
I have not heard anything from that. Nope, I have not heard anything back.
All right.
Are we doing a board retreat or PLC meeting in October? I have it on, it's on the calendar
I believe
for
we
the
are.
22nd.
I have it on the calendar too.
I believe, yes.
Yep. I want to say it's the
It's Monday, the 22nd is what we have
second,
scheduled.
yeah.
I believe so.
That's what I have, is the 22nd.
October,
yes.
Just a quick suggestion
Yep.
on that. It might be good to do one with more of the extended administration team, like with our new principals. Give us a chance to work side by side with them a little bit, get to know them a little bit, vice
Okay.
versa.
On the 22nd. It is,
It's 6 o'clock.
6, yeah. Which means Jennifer's buying dinner, right?
Yeah.
okay.
So we are down to the consent agenda, approval of the minutes from last month's meeting. Everybody's had a chance to look at them. And do I hear approval of the consent agenda?
You need a motion? I'll move that we approve the consent agenda.
Okay. Moved by Dawn,
I'll second.
second by Peggy. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. And we've approved the second reading. Do we got to read those or not, or anything?
You just approved them with the consent agenda.
Okay. We're down to comments by individual board members. We didn't have, you want to explain why we didn't have any policies for this month?
Obviously, we have been working through a safety and security concern. And I will state again, we do not have right now any immediate threat, and so we're continuing to leave the bulletin on the website, and we'll continue to work in conjunction with, as I said before, our great partners in law enforcement, and so that is part of the reason there is no policy up front, because that has been our focus for the last several weeks. So we will have a policy that will be back on the board for a first reading in October.
All right. With that, we're at individual board member comments. And Christina, you going to mention your program that you went to?
Sure. I had a chance last week to attend a 3-day conference at the University of Oregon called Leave No Victim Behind. It was on best practices for mass violence response. It was put on in part by the Oregon Department of Justice and the California Victims Compensation Board. We heard from victims and survivors of some recent mass violence events, including a student from Parkland, Florida, and we heard from first responders to some of those events, including the Las Vegas incident and Parkland, including the FBI and the Red Cross. And overall, it was, the focus was really learning from those communities who had plans in order, learning from those who didn't, what worked, what didn't work. And overall, the theme was, the importance of planning and partnerships and communication within the communities. So it was a good use of my time. It was very emotionally exhausting to hear all those things, but I came back with some good information and context I think that we'll be able to draw from.
Thank you for doing that, Christina. Any other comments from anybody? And the only other thing I want to say is I want to thank everybody. Oh, Steve raised his hand.
Just a quick one, Steve. I just want to acknowledge everybody that's here tonight. And Van, thank you for coming and speaking to us, Dan and Van. And, it's noted that everybody's here. So we, again, appreciate all the work that you do. Thank you for getting the district off to a great start. We're going into executive session after this board meeting to continue working on the stuff that you are concerned about. So stay tuned. We'll keep working.
And he just said everything I was going to say. Thank you guys for everything that you do. And we are going to go into executive session. We don't have anything listed down for future items, meetings, but I know that the facilities thing is coming up.
Yeah, and we are, like I said, we're waiting for one document to be here. We hope we will have it here shortly, and once we have that, to get a meeting, because I think all of this is poignant as we continue to have conversations, safety, security, facilities, as we continue to move forward.
So at this time, under the provisions of ORS 192-660, open meeting law, the Board of Directors will enter executive session for the following purpose: to conduct deliberations with persons designated to carry on labor negotiations, ORS 192-660, Section 2D, to consider matters relating to school safety or a plan that responds to safety threats made toward a school, ORS 192-660K, and specific information to discuss in the executive session shall not be made public and shall remain undisclosed. And we don't anticipate coming out and making any decisions or anything. And with that, let's take about a 10-minute recess, and then we'll meet in our room. Thanks, everybody.